Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. Today's question is, how can I move on from this pain or shock? It's something that's been your tower moment. It's very shocking to you, it's upturned your life. It can involve lots of pain for some of you. But definitely something that's just come out of the blue and hit you, and how can you move on from it? So although I'm titling the video how can I move on from this pain, it can also be quite shocking to you. If you're still drawn to this video, there might still be a message in you, even though it's not necessarily pain that you're enduring, but just shock. So stick with me. So I want you to bear in mind that this is going to be a general reading and that I'm going to try and apply quite a few different meanings to the interpretations in order to get most things covered. So just take what resonates, what makes sense to you, what you feel can help you, and what you feel is good advice to carry on with. We have options 1, option 2 and option 3. I'm going to put the timestamps to each of these 3 readings in the description box, along with my email address in case anyone would like to contact me for a private reading, and a link to my Instagram account in case anyone would like to follow me there. So think about your situation, the painful situation, the shocking situation. Concentrate on it, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths and think, how can you move on from this pain and shock? Trust your first instinct when making a choice. Don't overthink it, don't doubt yourself, just feel which of the 3 you are drawn to. If you need a little bit more time, then please press pause, otherwise I shall be moving on to the first reading. Thank you. Okay, those of you that chose option 1, here is your reading. So we have how can you move on from this pain and or shock. And we have the 10 of Wands, the Ace of Swords, the Knight of Wands. We have Kuan Yin, which is Goddess of Compassion. And we have Jizo, which is the god of support. I don't know if I'm pronouncing either of those names correctly, so apologies if you're listening and I'm butchering these lovely names. So, in order to move on from this tower moment, you really need to accept the burden and release it. It's been very burdensome for you. You're at the end of this now, this journey, this lesson to be learned from this shocking thing, or even if there's nothing to be learned, it's just something that's really a bolt out of the blue and hit you, or it could be a relationship ending or the loss of a job. The burden is coming to an end and you've got to decide to unburden yourself, to let go of it really. And that's the beginning of you moving on, to accept it's too much now and it's time to stop. You need to see the truth of something, the truth of a situation, to cut through all the mess with this sword and just see what's really there. Pare things down to the bare minimum of what you need. And you need to look at it logically. You can't, it's not going to be to your benefit to get hysterical or too overly emotional. You need to try and just keep it simple. And keep it, in your mind, to start new mindsets, new thoughts, new ideas. And we have the Knight of Wands. So for some of you, it is a literal move away from where you are now. Some of you, it's travel. Like this knight has travelled to Egypt with the pyramids, going off on a crusade or something. It's time now for you to physically move, some of you. So if it's the end of a relationship, it's time to take steps to move out. It doesn't mean just sort of up sticks and leave all your assets and everything that you've invested. See things clearly but it's time perhaps for a lot of you to just move on, and to move on into a new life with excitement and drive and energy and passion. So you can have like new thoughts and passion. It's just perhaps if you're been crying all the time, or you're just sort of frozen in shock, it's time to kick yourself out of that. But I sense more that it's to do with feeling overwhelmed by it all, probably emotionally, because we've got compassion and support. So you need to either find it or offer it to yourself, to offer yourself love and care and protection. So protecting your emotions, protecting your investments and your thoughts, to not compromise on certain things, really. Some things you do have to compromise on, of course, but not others. But you definitely, in order to get over this sort of pain and shock, is to be kind to yourself. Some people here are being far too hard on themselves, that they maybe are annoyed that they are in pain or shock or just traumatized by what's happened. They're sort of a bit of, a bit stunned. And you need to accept that. You need to accept it, see the truth of it, and be ready to move on and change it up. But do that acceptance with compassion and support. The more we do not acknowledge how we feel about things, the more damage we do, because the more you try and pretend you don't feel the way you feel, that you shouldn't feel pain, like when we love someone that we shouldn't love, and then you look back and say, oh, I never really loved them, but of course you did. Or sometimes, oh, I didn't really want that job anyway, but of course you did, that's why you went for it, Or we start telling ourselves that we're going to fail before we've even started. All these things need compassion and support, where you say, actually, I really wanted that job, and I really tried hard and I didn't get it. Others of you need to reach out and ensure that you're getting compassion and support from those around you. That you can't really do it alone because you're burdened too much, and you need other people who have compassion and the ability to support you, to help you carry the load. That you can't do it all alone. You need other people to help you, and this is you accepting the truth of that and actually going out to get the compassion and the support that you need. And this is what's going to help you move on from this pain and shock, to reach out to others, to travel towards them. That can be literally as in physical travel, or just sort of a mentally and emotionally, in that you reach out and start contacting other people and saying, I need you, I need you. Yeah. These are the dominant, I feel in this reading, these are the dominant things, compassion and support. And that's essential to move on from anything traumatic. So if something's happened and not many people know about it, and that's why you're so burdened, there will be a support network around you, whether it's a group or literally medical intervention. It's going to be there for you. Some of you might need to travel in order to get treatment, but it doesn't matter, you can do it. Yeah. So those of you that chose option 1, that is your reading. Sounds a bit simple, like how do you get this compassion and support? Well, you need to be brave enough to get it, to go out there and find it. I don't feel that this is going to come to you. I think you are going to have to take action to get it, because we've got the Knight of Wands. And do it quickly as well, because it's the Knight of Wands. He's a quick, fast mover. So don't waste any time. Just say it and do it. Say it and do it. Yeah. I wish you all the best of luck with this, those of you that chose option 1. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you for listening to me. Let me know in the comments section if this reading has helped you in any way or resonates and all the rest of it. But other than that, goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 2, here is your reading. So how do you move on from your pain and or shock? So we've got the King of Swords, We've got the Three of Pentacles. Oh, and the card that sort of tells you it all, moving on emotionally, the Eight of Cups. And we've got the Muses, which is inspiration, and Zeus, which is leadership. So, yeah. Well, I mean, you've literally been told to move on, you know, answering the question, well, move on, move on. That doesn't help really, does it? You know you want to move on, but how do you do that? And you do that by going into your head more, going into your logic, into your rational side. If you have a small rational side, you need to develop and grow him, because he's going to be there to help you through this. This is the part of you that when you've had a bad breakup, or you failed a big exam, or you didn't get the job you wanted, or you've had a big fight, that says stop crying now, it's happened, and now you need to look and see why it happened. It's the judge card. It's, you know, the professional who understands facts and figures and paperwork. So some of you need to literally look to paperwork for some reason. And that's going to help you move on. Whether that's because you find the truth, because this is a sword and it's sort of words, thoughts, truths, cutting through all the nonsense. But yeah, going further into your mind, into your thought processes. The part of you that goes, hang on, let me think about this. So some of you watching this video might have been overwhelmingly into their emotions. We also have the Three of Pentacles, which is sort of the collaboration card for me. It's about building something better, something with other people that is better than if you had worked alone to create it. It's not saying that you can't do it solo, it's just going to be better with other people involved. So this is something about your team, your teamwork. So some of you need to find a new team. So if it's a case of you didn't get a job, there's going to be another workplace out there for you that's going to be better. If it's a case of you have your own business, your own company, your own little thing going on, a change in your team probably could do you very good. Whether that's your employees or just finding a company that's better for you to work in, where it's the same job but a different company. Or turning to those that you work with. If this is not a case of employment, but it's sort of pain and a shocking moment, you might find that actually there's support around you at work in order to create something better from this. But there's definitely creating something, I sense, from the pain and the shock that you've endured. You know, like when somebody says, well, I had this experience and then I wrote a song, wrote a book, did whatever with it, created a work of art, created something new from it with others, and that really speaks to me because of inspiration. The Muses, you know who the Muses are? They, you know, artists, creators, weave the tapestry of life for us all. You know, it's 3 and 3. You need to work with a couple of other people, or more, depending on your situation. Now this, as I said, oh, how helpful, you know, sort of a card that basically repeats part of the question, but it's really saying move on emotionally. So some of you are really clinging on to the pain of what's happened, clinging to the shock. You're sort of avoiding moving on. I think you're doing the opposite. You sort of, no, I'll stay here, thank you very much. But you've got to move on. You know, and we've got an eclipse here. The moon card has an eclipse. It always makes me think, you know, you've got to go deep within yourself and think, why am I not moving on? Why do I keep on dredging up this old pain? Why do I, you know, keep going over and over it, possibly repeating yourself? Whereas really what you need to do is say, I'm going to leave that and I'm going to move on. This is where the King of Swords comes in. You need to think of it logically. Why am I constantly raking over old coals? You know, when something happens and it's terrible and everybody supports them and it's all wonderful and everything, but they keep going on and on about it and they don't let it go, and years after the particular event they meet somebody new and they discuss it again, and again and again and again, and you think, oh Jesus, when are they going to let that go? They can't let something go. And I feel that that's a lot of people watching this video, that you're not letting it go. You're clinging on to it. even though it's better for you to move on. And you need to let it go emotionally. Just say, okay, I'm walking away from it. I'm not going to sit here and feel sad about it. I'm not going to feel the pain. I'm not going to any negative emotions, bitterness or whatever. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to let it go. And whatever is in your actual life, whether you can actually literally move out of a place or leave town or whatever, it doesn't matter. Inside in your heart, you need to close the book and let it go. And a lot of you, I suspect, are not. And so the clear message is, it's in your heart, you've got to let it go. Move on from it, literally. So I think that a lot of you are aware of that you need to and that you can. It's just that you're resisting it. But what you also need to do is draw on your inspiration and your sense of control over your own life. Because Zeus, we know he's the king of the Greek gods. He fought his father, Cronus, and he wasn't the perfect man. He certainly wasn't the perfect husband, but he was the leader, and he made decisions, and he could, be appealed to, and he lived a life. And that's what you need to do. Take charge. Not to be told what's going on, what to do and all that, but to take charge of your own life and what you want to do with it, to weave your own fate, to create your own music and wine and artistry. I feel that probably quite a lot of people watching this reading are creative people, and that's what you're being called to do, create something from this particular event or situation or pain or shock or whatever. You're meant to grow from it, and you're resisting it. You're meant to create and collaborate, and that's what you need to do in order to move on from it, is to make something better from it than you had before. And that, those of you that chose number 2, is your reading. Please let me know in the comments section if it resonated with you, if it made any sort of sense. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to my reading. Bye. Okay, those of you that chose option 3, here is your reading. How can you move on from this pain and or shock? We have the 2 of Wands, King of Cups, 6 of Wands, and we also have Faith, Joan of Arc, Vulcan, Inventiveness. So what you need to do in order to move on from this pain is now is the time to start looking out into the world or at the situation and making a decision about it, to do your research, investigate. So some of you might literally need to investigate the particular events surrounding this situation, like trying to articulate this very well. It's when police investigate a crime, I'm not saying that that's what's happened to most of you, but they establish a timeline of events, and this is what, in a sense, what you need to do. You need to see what's led up to this and investigate the facts around it, what's been going on. There's a world there, some of it's going to involve the internet, but you need to start investigating and researching and thinking and looking out to see about, and I think through that constructive approach, it will, in a sense, give you something to do and something to structure your life around, so that you're doing something proactive. So rather than sitting at home feeling miserable and in pain and in shock and sort of feeling helpless, you're being proactive and doing something. And whatever you find out will only be to your good. Even if it's, doesn't add any extra facts to what happened, you will learn something from it, possibly about yourself or just something that does help you in some way. Because you need to balance your emotions. Some of you are either too far into your head energy and that you're not feeling enough, and others of you are feeling too much. And you need to balance it. Accept your emotions and how you feel and feel them, but don't allow them to swamp you so that you can't successfully live life, complete tasks, do what you're meant to do. You need to keep a hold on your emotions so that they don't impede your progress, like the progress of moving on. You know, this really does represent for me, sort of particularly when I do readings about relationships coming to an end. It's sort of that acceptance that you sort of come to the point where you don't want to sit moping and listening to sad love songs anymore, and watching old videos of you together and going through your social media and going, oh, I remember when we did this, and I mean, there's a lot to get through because nowadays everybody takes millions of photos on their phone. But it's about balancing your emotions. Whatever this is, if it isn't romance and it's to do with work, you've still got to balance your emotions out in some way. So if you're angry about not getting a job, or you're really annoyed or just emotional and upset about it, you need to balance your emotions out and say, for instance, find out why you didn't get the job. You know, say, can I have some feedback? Why wasn't the interview successful, please? You know, I understand you haven't given it me, but I would like to know why. That kind of thing, making construction out of a failure or a loss. And you need to move into your own successes. There will be things in your life that you are good at, that are going well, that you are successful at, and at the moment you're not focusing on them. And by the time you do start getting and paying attention, you will discover that you are moving on. For some of you, you're just now ready to move into success. That you are ready to start a new relationship, start applying for other jobs, to get promotions, to look for another company that will pay you what you want per hour, and also is a progression for you in terms of your career. You're ready to be successful, and that's what you need to move into, your success, either by appreciating the successes you do have and cultivating them further, or by literally saying, that's where I want to be, that's my success, and I'm moving towards it. And it's public accolade, so a lot of you are not recognising that those around you, it doesn't literally mean being famous necessarily for most of you, but you know, in the unlikely event that someone famous is probably watching this, if you are well known and you are well liked, remember that and move into it, and move into, you know, they say you're really successful at this, enjoy it, you know. And so if you're just somebody that's quite popular in your crowd, you know, you're not world famous, you're not even famous in your area, but you're really well liked and people love you, spend time with the people that will massage your ego, that will say, no, actually that was quite unfair, you weren't treated properly, and I'm on your side and I appreciate what you do and what you're good at. You know, this is a short-term energy, it's just representative of a parade. Well, a victory parade is only a few hours long, and then life goes back to normal. So this is just something, a little confidence boost you need, a little bit of, as I say, an ego massage. And you'll start to feel better about yourself, more confident in yourself, and moving away and moving on from the pain and the shock and whatever. Your tower moment will fade and will be much easier because you'll feel confident and good about yourself, because you've been reminded about what you're good at. But you need to be of a balanced mind in order to appreciate and get the full benefit of this sort of applause moment. You know, that's there. Yeah, look around you, there's more going on that you're good at. You also have faith and inventiveness. So you must have faith in yourself. I do feel that for a lot of, you know, when something happens and it just comes out of nowhere and you think, well, where did that come from and why did that happen? And oh my God, I was there harmlessly minding my own business and this has just come and dive bombed me. Why? And you feel so vulnerable. And in that vulnerability, not that we become weak, but we are weaker because we suddenly doubt ourselves and we lack confidence and we lack that sense of security that we have. And this isn't going to be a permanent state of mind. If that makes sense to you, this isn't going to last forever. It's just a blip. Because you've got to have faith in yourself. Joan of Arc never gave up. She died for what she believed in. I don't think you will need to do that, by the way. But what I'm saying is she wouldn't give in. She believed in it. It didn't matter that other people didn't, she did, and she knew what she was doing was right and she was doing it for the right reasons. Again, it's all a matter of perspective, but the point is you must have faith in yourself. You must also be inventive. So quite a few of you are going to need to think outside of the box. Find unique solutions to problems. You know, sort of, there's always somebody who has sort of a sort of genius level of solving problems. You need to either find them or draw on the, you know, that sort of, I will find an answer to this problem. Vulcan was the blacksmith of the gods in the Roman mythology. He was Hephaestus in Greek mythology. He was the husband of Venus, but he was lame. He was reviled as being ugly and unwanted, and Zeus felt sorry for him, so he gave him the goddess of love, the most beautiful woman in the universe, as a wife, as compensation because of this sense of pity. And she cheated on him non-stop. But he had his blacksmith smithy, and any hero, he was a common feature in these hero stories in the mythology, where if you needed something, he would make it. You needed to be invisible, you got a magic helmet. You needed to fly, you got a pair of shoes with wings on, a pair of sandals with wings on, sorry. That's what you need to do. You need to create something that solves a problem that you have, to use your own unique magicness to create something new. Some of you, yeah, it might be a literal crafting of some item because blacksmith, but I think a lot of you need to start looking at what's happened and your life in a new way, to have a logical leap, a lateral leap, where you can suddenly go, I see, and see a way forward, and have faith in that inspiration that you're going to feel and that inventiveness in order to make it a reality, to have your victory moment. So yeah, something unique and individual, really sort of, when you look back and you say, geez, that was clever of me, you know, that, you know, necessity is the mother of invention, and that's what you need, and what a lot of you will be able to draw on and do. And that'll be interesting to see from my perspective, because that's piqued my curiosity. So this is the reading for those of you that chose option 3. So please let me know in the comments section what you feel that your inventiveness is in regards to your situation, if you don't mind, of course. But otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to me. Bye.